key area where the Philippines needs to improve things.
Yeah, as in many developing countries, infrastructure and issues. $17 billion, obviously that will not all be funded by the state, will it? Is the Philippines an attractive place yet? Now we have this investment rating, grade rating. Is the Philippines an attractive place for foreign investors now, do you think?
In principle, yes. There are high returns, but one of the key challenges is to bring together the private sector and the public sector for infrastructure. And there are so-called PPP projects, public-private partnerships. And so far, they haven't really gotten off the ground yet. We have a couple of those in the pipeline, but that's one of the focus areas of the president. And probably the next 2 years, that's a growth area.
We've heard many times, Fred, leaders in the Philippines say that corruption is going to be cleaned up and cronyism will end and the country will get moving again. And it fails, basically. What is the current president doing differently, do you think, this time?
Well, in the first 3 years of his presidency, and he's just halfway through in the Philippines with a 6-year term, he's really focused on closing tax loopholes, going after tax cheats, for example, not doing massive programs such as infrastructure. He really focused on nitty-gritty of trying to improve tax collection and targeting corruption. Over the second 3 years of his term, which really start next week, he will have to then try to institutionalize these reforms so that these tax revenue increases outlast him, to put in, you know, the fundamental institutional structure that will be in place with the next president as well.
Think about it is that corruption remains a blight in many countries, the Philippines being one. Do you think that he's talked a good game on corruption? Are we actually seeing the fruits of an anti-corruption drive there yet, or are you still wanting to see more and it'll take longer?
I think it's going to be a decade-long battle, given the Philippine history of 50 years of dictatorships and really the whole government's apparatus was sacked with corruption and so forth. You can't rectify that in a few years. So I do think we need more, much more needs to be done, and beyond the term of this president. So he's made a great start. But the verdict remains whether he can, sustain this.
Just very quickly, record high for the market now. Is the Philippines, in your opinion, still a buy?
Well, it's a demographic sweet spot. We see very strong growth for years to come, so the high valuations need to be seen in that perspective, and therefore it's still attractive.
OK, we'll have to leave there. Frederick Newman, as always, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Frederick Newman, the Head of Asian Economics with HSBC. Let's turn quickly to some other news now.